Hi, this is Nick Brandon from TechWork. It's currently 3rd of June 2025 and today I'm doing a video and blog on cybersecurity. It's a little bit different to what I'd normally say, and the reason for that is that the cybersecurity situation is getting so bad that we are advising our customers to take more stringent advanced measures to protect themselves from cyber attacks. I just heard on the news before doing this video that Cartier and North Face have just been hit by attacks, two more brand names, but don't be fooled. These hackers aren't just after big companies and well-known companies. They're indiscriminate. They will go after anyone, no matter how big or small you are, how well known you are, it doesn't matter. So it's down to us as business owners or people that work in organisations, charities, schools, everything basically, to make sure that we're protected as much as we reasonably can be from these attacks. So we've done a blog, and you can visit the blog page and read up more information. But just to start off with, what we would normally recommend customers to do is to get accredited for the government-backed scheme, which is Cyber Essentials, or Cyber Essentials Plus, which is an added advanced level, and that ticks a lot of the basics for a business or organisation to get themselves protected. It's a self-assessment, and you have to answer a lot of questions about your setup, and there'll be questions that you can't answer with gaps. So what we do with our customers is we answer all the questions, and for new customers where there are gaps, we tell them what we need to do to fix the gaps and fill them, and then we give them a fixed fee cost to put all of that in for them. It might be quite a simple task, it might be a more involved task, it just depends on their starting point, and it covers everything from dealing with devices on your network that have old software on them, to users and starters, password policies, IT policies, a lot of the basic stuff, including multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication, which is really important, which helps to stop hackers getting through onto your accounts if they steal your username and password. But one of the reasons why we're doing this blog video today is that we're seeing, and have seen for a little while, reports and actual instances where hackers are getting past the security measures, getting past two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication. So it's often appropriate to ask the questions whether these advanced measures, which I'm going to mention quickly, are relevant and appropriate for a business or organisation to consider implementing. So yeah, that's the gist of it. So I'm just going to run through them very quickly. You can look at our blog page if you go to techwork.co.uk and look at our blog, and just look at the advanced security, cybersecurity blog. You'll be able to read it, and I'll try and put a link in at the end of this video for you. Okay, so the first thing to consider is to apply stricter controls particularly when staff are using or working from outside of trusted networks. So when they're working from home, remotely, etc., on the go. So this can reduce the opportunity for compromises to take place, but it can impact the user's experience, and it's going to probably ask them a lot more frequently for validation of their credentials, and that it's actually really them signing in. So it needs to be carefully thought of, but we need to certainly think about it. The next thing to talk about is multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication, which I mentioned previously. So in its basic format, what happens is if you log on from an unknown device or IP address, you'll get a text message code that you can then put in to get past it. We're recommending that you take a more robust route for that, which is Microsoft or Google Authenticator. which are apps that you can put in. So people like the NHS use this, banking have used this kind of thing for years. Just gives you stronger protection against phishing and various other attacks. And security keys provide like a nice secure login experience, especially when you're outside of the office network. But as I said, these are not fail-safe anymore. Hackers are getting past these measures. It's like cops and robbers. The hackers get past measures. The security software writers put more measures in. It's cowboys and Indians. So one of the next things I want to talk about is setting limits on how many emails people can send from their actual normal Outlook desktop. So the reason for this is if somebody does get attacked and someone gains control of their email account, what they tend to do is they tend to send out loads and loads of emails to their clients, disrupting everything, sometimes asking for banking details to be changed and all sorts of things. So by setting a limit on how many emails each person can send, won't necessarily stop things from happening, but it certainly will alert us. We'll get alerts on our system to say that something has gone wrong, and it's an alert mechanism basically. So for those customers or organisations that use bulk email sending machines like MailChimp and CRM systems, this isn't going to apply, but it's just really for when you're using your normal desktop email. The next thing is basically accessing files. So one of the problems is if somebody does get hacked and it comes to our attention or the customer's attention, trying to find out exactly what's happened can be quite tricky and cumbersome and time consuming. So there's something called Microsoft Purview Audit Premium, which allows advanced logging and deeper insights. It's a cost option, as with many of these things, but it does enable detailed investigation. And the other thing is to consider is segmenting networks, so making sure that users only have access to the networks that they actually, or parts of the network that they actually need. So that's worth considering. The next thing is taking over or taking more control of advanced security measures and controls on the most likely attack medium, which is email. Email is where most of the attacks come in. So using automated software like Microsoft Defender for Office 365 to protect issues with, sorry, just putting my dog down, to protect issues with phishing, protection from dangerous links, quarantining users from suspect emails, that's definitely worth having. It automates a lot of the process. It reduces the chances of someone being tricked into clicking a malicious link, for example, transferring funds to a fraudster, prevents users from accidentally landing on phishing sites or malware traps, and it also streamlines email handling as well. So next thing is security awareness training. So quite often the most vulnerable parts of your network are your users, unfortunately, and it's still really the number one cause of breaches is by staff and users clicking on things, causing problems. Obviously some people are better than others with this, so if you have ongoing phishing simulations and training, so you can manage this process, find out who are the more vulnerable users, who are the more maybe gullible, being completely honest, users, and try to give people as much training as possible. So yeah, I mean it's not just links, it's not just clicking on links, there's social engineering problems these days where attempts can be made by really quite elaborate setups where a user might get an email from somebody that looks like they're from, just to use an example, toysrus.co.uk, but that actually says Toys R Us, .co.uk. Not saying that Toys R Us domain has got anything to do with anything, but just using that as an example. And they can potentially look like the email is actually from that company, and it's very easy to get tricked. So we can provide software training which sends out a lot of these tricks, which they're not real tricks, but they're tricks to trick you, and trying to impersonate what might happen. So this does help staff with training, and it reinforces good habits, basically. Certainly increases in reporting, and it also creates like a reporting culture. So like on the British Rail or London Underground, see it, say it, sort it. It encourages that kind of thing. The next thing on the agenda is to have a regular security review. So that's something that we can do, where it covers some of these additional threats and measures, and we can make sure that your setup is continuing to be set up with the best practices deployed. One next thing to talk about is reviewing your suppliers. So Marks and Spencer's, for example, recently got attacked through one of their third-party suppliers. So it was an indirect attack. So ask your suppliers about their cybersecurity measures and controls. Are they Cyber Essentials accredited? Do they have any other security accreditations like ISO 27001? But also review the data that you share with them and withhold access to anything which is completely unnecessary. There's no need for them to have access to data. If that's the case, don't give them access. So constantly reviewing these things is a good idea. Point 9 on my list is incident response planning, disaster recovery and business continuity. So coming up with a proper plan. If there's an incident, what happens, who does what, when, etc. And ensuring there's a proper disaster recovery and continuity plan. So how are things locked down, who does it, how are things reported to your IC support company, what do they do, how is data protected, and how is backup data restored to the organisation so staff can continue to work and continue to function. It's asking the what if questions and making sure you know what happens if that happens. And the last thing to talk about really is cyber insurance. So when you're dealing with your business insurers, they will offer you cyber insurance, and I suggest you take it to the levels that you need to. They will probably ask you to do an assessment and lots of questions, and you will need to answer them, many of which you probably would have already answered if you'd done the Cyber Essentials assessment, which I referred to earlier. And so those are the advanced steps. You can obviously pay very pricey cyber insurance experts to come in and do these reviews for you, and if you're a small to medium sized business, that might be cost prohibitive for you. So what we're offering really is these advanced steps to not be a silver bullet, but to give you as good a basis for protecting your organisation, business, staff, suppliers as you realistically can, with a reasonable budget. And this will be an ongoing thing. So it wouldn't just be do this and forget about it. Like a car, that has to be serviced and maintained to certain standards, and your IT setup is the same. So I hope that's of interest. I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, please do get in touch with us, whether you're a customer or whether you're not a customer. Please do get in touch with us. We predominantly deal with businesses and organisations in Kent and Sussex, from kind of 1 user up to 250 users. with the bigger companies, we're working alongside their IT departments, quite often helping their IT departments, because quite often they're quite narrow in what they get to see within IT, and we're very broad brush in terms of all the things we do, so we have kind of more knowledge, more broad brush knowledge. So please do get in touch with us. Our number's 01892 578 666. You can visit our website, which is techwork.co.uk. You can email us at helpme@techwork.co.uk, and I really do hope that this has been useful to you. So thank you very much. Have a great day.